I don't want to brag, but when traveling, I feel I'm pretty good at keeping it simple, packing light, and skipping the check-in luggage. It's just that when camping, all that minimalism goes out the window and I tend to just want to bring everything, even for short trips, including things I didn't even know that I owned, which is why I was pretty interested to test out the Dutch-designed NomadiQ BBQ, a super compact portable grill that seems like a good candidate to replace my fire pit barbecue on summer trips, because I love that thing, but it does take up a ton of space. The NomadiQ is a gas barbecue. I know that for some people, grilling is like a near-religious experience that requires open flame, ceremony, and possibly a goat. I respect that, but when speed and convenience are the goal, gas is hard to beat. The NomadiQ has a clamshell design, making it very compact and easy to transport, almost like a laptop case or a handbag. Probably a heavy handbag at 5.6 kilograms, but definitely something that invites insane ideas like, what if we tried to barbecue on a fill in the blank? My yacht is unfortunately in repair, but I've tested it in a couple of outdoor scenarios, and I think I can give you a solid overview of its talents and flaws. Setting up feels a bit like solving one of those escape room puzzles, hidden latches, twisty knobs, a general air of mystery. I'm not entirely sure I would have figured it out without instructions, but honestly, it is a clever system. And once it's all open, it's also very solid. All in all, setting up, I'd say you're about 2 to 3 minutes away from cooking, which is probably faster than most people can find their charcoal. Each side has its own controls, its own gas feed, letting you cook different foods simultaneously. So you can grill a steak on one side and saute veggies on the other. I won't pretend I'm a good enough outdoor cook to truly explore all that potential, but I can tell you if it's a great feature, if only because it means that you can choose to use only half the grill. Saves a ton of gas, because if you're used to using these canisters for things like camping stoves, you'll quickly notice barbecuing is not exactly the most efficient use of propane. You can definitely burn through one of these in a single setting if you've got a lot of food to cook. Combined, these two burners give you 1,460 square centimeters of grilling surface and a combined output of 10,900 BTU, which should be enough even in winter if you happen to be the kind of person who hears barbecue and thinks January. That surface area is actually pretty impressive for such a small unit. For example, something like a Weber Q1200, also in the same price range, actually has a slightly smaller grilling area while easily weighing twice as much. But the Weber does have a lid. Serious grillers will tell you that knowing how and when to use the lid is a culinary art form in itself, and I'm not gonna pretend to know all about that, but I will say from experience that a lid also comes in handy in windy conditions, and so it is indeed a useful feature that you will be missing out on with the NomadiQ. Other than that, I don't have a ton of negatives. The cooking surface, the grids are pretty thin and light. Definitely no cast iron here, and so you won't get superior heat distribution and retention. But let's be honest, this isn't designed to go toe-to-toe with a green egg. It's designed to take a sad sandwich moment and turn it into a barbecue opportunity. Now, the ever-important topic of cleanup. The non-stick ceramic grates are dishwasher safe. It's always a big plus, and there are removable drip trays. It's a neat system. While the grill's open, grease drips through the side holes into the trays, but as you wait for everything to cool down, the grease solidifies into this kind of fat nipple? I don't really know how else to call it. All I know is there's a good chance YouTube's algorithm will hear and see this and just delete this channel. Cleaning the grids is easy enough even when you're stuck somewhere without a dishwasher. It's a more delicate surface than most barbecue grids, so hard brushes are off the table, TLC only. The manual recommends the rest of the device be cleaned with some detergent and a soft cloth, and it does work, except some of the spots are kind of hard to get to, especially underneath the burners. I do know you don't really have to, or at least not very often, and I don't think I've ever worried about the inside of other barbecues being dirty. Maybe it's just it being upright that gives me a low-level OCD about wanting to clean it. My version came with custom grilling mats, something that has apparently existed for over a decade without me noticing. They fit perfectly, weigh almost nothing, and make cleanup super easy. Haven't used them a ton because they are coated in Teflon and are not wild about PFAS. Probably not a huge deal on something that you won't be using every week. But still, if you do use the mats, it's smart to stick to moderate heat. Open the valve halfway and you'll get a nice, even surface without melting the planet. In summary, I quite like this thing. Occasionally, I have daydreams about learning to cook like a pro, maybe on one of those fancy Japanese barbecue eggs. The NomadiQ does not feature in those dreams. But that's okay because I'm also not gonna do any of that. I don't want complexity and sophistication. I just want easy, tasty, family-friendly food when camping without having to buy a bigger car. And that is exactly what the NomadiQ is great at. It doesn't come with a yacht or a camper van, which feels like a missed opportunity on the manufacturer's part, but hopefully they'll fix that in the next version. Until then, thanks for watching and see you around.